Harv Eker believes that the concepts and insights he shares are not necessarily true or false, right or wrong. They are merely a reflection of the successful life he built from his results. But he believes that if people were to use the principle in this book, they would be able to transform their lives. This is why he recommends to the reader to study these principles and to at least try the action points given. If the principle works for you, keep doing it. And if a principle doesn't, you're free to get rid of it. This book addresses the missing link between your desire for wealth and your achievement of successful financial results. It will fix the blueprint in your mind, and by the end of the book, you will have the necessary tools to make your mind primed for financial success. Moreover, you will learn the reality of being and getting rich, and the things required from you by life to succeed financially. In the first part of this book, the subject of conditioning is explored and explained how it affects people's attitudes towards money. The shaping influences to your mind are discussed, and how your mind exactly influences the results that you create in the world. In addition to this, you will be provided with 4 steps on how to fix the conditioning that prevents you from getting rich. Make sure to understand this part of the book before going to the second one, because the concepts in this part will be used in the second part. In the second part, the author provides the differences between the thinking of the rich, the middle class, and the poor that creates the results they are able to achieve. The author believes that it is because of these differences that the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. He provides 17 attitudes and sets of action points that can help you adapt the mindset of the rich so that you can be financially successful as well. Since you're reading a summary of this book, it means that you are interested in learning. But oftentimes, the new knowledge and wisdom you're trying to learn can be blocked by your own mind. How? By refusing to unlearn what you already know, which clearly is not working if you're not rich or successful. This book requires you to unlearn certain things that you might have held on to for your whole life. But like any type of growth, there are some things you must let go of in order to adopt new ones that will help you reach new heights. Your Money Blueprint. Knowledge of the principles of money is a reality if you want to succeed in wealth. You must apply the different principles that build different people's success in business, money management, and investing. However, what is not commonly known is that these principles must go hand in hand with being the right person for such success. This means if you want to achieve a certain level of success, you must have the right character, thinking, and belief corresponding to said level of success. In relation to wealth, this basically means that you can only grow your income as much as you grow as a person. Why this is important. To illustrate this concept at work, you would simply have to think of people you knew who blew up financially. They might have lost a substantial amount of money from an inheritance or lottery prize, or they might have been presented with an excellent opportunity, but only to squander it in the end. These cases of financial failure might look like they all came down to chance, but in actuality, the people who experienced them did not have the internal capacity for the wealth or opportunity provided to them. In contrast, there are also those who do have the internal capacity that they have. This is most evident in self-made millionaires. They have achieved the millionaire mind that enabled them to earn millions. And if they happen to lose it like Donald Trump, they can bounce back and eventually earn their millions all over again. This is because they have a financial thermostat or money blueprint set for their level of success, and any amount less is unacceptable. With most people unaware of this reality, it is not surprising that a lot of people find it difficult to achieve financial freedom. They might not even have their financial thermostats set at an amount that they need to meet their financial needs. This lack of awareness makes these people only accept what they can see around them and nothing more. Your mind creates your results. The fruits of every orchard and the harvest of every farm, the visible, are determined by what is under the ground, the invisible. Nothing can be done with the fruit if nothing is done with what it is being grown upon. Just like the fruits of a tree cannot be changed without changing the plant itself, you cannot change the results you create in your life without changing your internal blueprint. It is possible to get results that are better and in line with what you want, but to do so, you would have to strengthen the roots that born these results. The 4 quadrants. At any given moment, we are all living in 4 planes of existence at the same time. These planes of existence, otherwise known as the 4 quadrants, are the realms of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. The physical realm is the outer or visible world mentioned in the previous parts. This realm is merely the result of the other 3 invisible realms. In relation to your money blueprint, the result that you experience is never the problem. It is merely a symptom of your actual problem. Since the result manifested in your physical realm is caused by your mental, emotional, and spiritual realms, you must look toward your internal or invisible world for the problem. Once you have identified the problem, you are one step closer to changing the result you have been experiencing. The secret for change. Every time you get to the end of a major principle in this book, you will make an emphatic declaration out loud. This is because it is a valuable tool for creating change. When you make a declaration, you are creating energy that travels all throughout your body. This sends a powerful message to your mind and to the universe. Now, do not make the mistake that declarations are the same as affirmations. A declaration is a statement of an intention of being or doing something. On the other hand, an affirmation is a statement of something that is already happening. Doing the declaration stated in the book is suggested to be done aloud every morning and evening while looking in the mirror. For the first declaration, it is to be stated with your hand on your heart. As for the second, it will be done while touching your head with your index finger. Declaration. Place hand on your heart. My inner world creates my outer world. Touch index finger on your head. I have a millionaire mind. Determining one's personal money blueprint and finding out how it was formed. Your personal money blueprint can be likened to the blueprint of a house. It is a predetermined design for the house, which would be used for the construction of the house. Whatever is in the blueprint is reflected in the constructed house. In the same way, whatever is in your money blueprint is reflected on your financial experience in life. This blueprint is primarily formed by the information you learned in the past. This information or conditioning mainly came from your parents, culture, friends, teachers, authority figures, and experiences during childhood. This collection of information influences your thoughts. These thoughts would then influence your feelings, which would, in turn, influence your actions. Then, through your actions, you get the result that you experience in your outside world. If you want to change the results you've been getting out of your life, you would have to change the blueprint that creates these results. To do this, you must first understand how your thoughts are conditioned. Generally, in every area of your life, you are conditioned through verbal programming, modeling, and specific incidents. Verbal programming. Verbal programming or conditioning is all the statements you have heard in your life. In regards to your money blueprint, these statements are anything that you have heard about wealth, money, and rich people. It does not matter whether they are positive, negative, or neutral about these topics. So long as these have been a constant utterance during your childhood and environment, these statements are shaping or have shaped your subconscious to be the way it is right now. And when these statements have been bestowed upon you by important people in your life, like your parents, you would always subconsciously believe these statements. It does not matter if these statements make sense, for the subconscious will always choose those that have deep emotional roots rather than those that make logical sense. How to change. To start the change, you must first understand the 4 essential elements needed to reprogram the verbal conditioning affecting your subconscious. First, you must gain an awareness of the things you're trying to change. Second, you have to trace where your current way of thinking came from. This will help you realize that it is merely an influence of the external world upon you. This will give you the knowledge that your way of thinking is not part of your being. Third, once you've realized that your current way of thinking is not a part of you, you can start to distance yourself from it and make the decision if you will keep it or let go of this way of thinking. Understand that this decision must consider if this way of thinking will help you create the results you're aiming for in the future. Otherwise, you would still get the same thing that you've been getting after all this time. Fourth, you would introduce the way of thinking that is actually helpful for creating the results that you want. At this step, you will be reconditioning yourself to a way of thinking that will help you achieve the life that you want. Steps for change. To apply this in changing your verbal programming, you would be doing the following. Create awareness. Think of the statements you have heard and repeatedly heard about money, finances, wealth, and wealthy individuals during your childhood. Write down these statements to create your inventory of verbal programming. Gain understanding. With these statements, reflect and write how these have affected your finances. Think of all the experiences in your life so far where these statements have influenced you. Disassociate. By being aware of the statements programming your thoughts about money, you can see that these statements have originally been from your external world. Therefore, they are not part of your identity and your being. By knowing this, you can see that you have a choice to change these statements and create better results in life. Reprogram. Declarations are the best way to change your verbal programming. Say the following declarations. Hand over heart. The things I heard about money are not necessarily true. I make a choice to take on new thinking that sustains the life of happiness and success that I want. Touch your index finger to your head. I have a millionaire mind. Modeling. Your habits in regard to money are most likely identical to one or a combination of your parents' or guardians' money habits. This is due to the fact that children learn almost everything from their observations. This learning process is called modeling. When one has modeled a behavior, they would most likely be unaware that they're exhibiting a behavior because of an external influence. This would show in their results, like Harv Eker, who experienced an up and down income for 10 years because he modeled the same behavior of his father, which led to the same result. But once a person is aware of this, they can take steps to consciously mitigate these behaviors. On the other hand, there are cases when, due to anger and resentment, an individual becomes the opposite of their parents. In these cases, they are more likely to be aware of the behavior of their role model and do their best to get the results that their parents or guardian fail to achieve. However, this kind of approach in achieving one's goals will cause misery in the person. This is because the motivation for such a goal is negative, usually an emotion, and the achievement and the negative emotion are often associated with each other. Eventually, they will get tired and decide to let go of what is making them angry. In this case, when the gaining of wealth is your goal and your motivation is negative, you will eventually get rid of your wealth or the pursuit of it. Either way, whether you are modeling or doing the opposite of your parents' money behaviors, it is important that you are aware of how it affects your way of handling money. Moreover, you must also be aware of the motivations for earning a certain level of income and or building wealth. So, if you ever have any negative motivations, you can disassociate these from your drive and associate with healthier motivations of purpose, contribution, and joy. In this way, you will never find it in yourself to get rid of what you will achieve. Steps for change. To create the change in the behaviors you have gotten from modeling or rebelling, you will follow the following steps. Create awareness. Think of the different ways of being and habits that your parents had in regards to finances, money, and wealth. Write these down and think of how these things may be identical or opposite with your ways of being and habits. Gain understanding. Write down how these actions you have modeled to be similar or opposite have affected your financial life. Disassociate. Ask yourself, can you recognize that these behaviors or way of being is merely what you have learned from outside influences and not a part of your identity? Can you recognize the choice you have right now to do things differently? Reprogram. Do the following declarations. Hand over your heart. What I modeled from my parents was their way. I choose my own way. Touch your index finger to your head. I have a millionaire mind. Specific incidents. Aside from statements and behavior you inherited from your parents, your money blueprint can also be shaped by your experience. Most likely, these experiences that shaped your blueprint happened during your childhood. These blueprint-shaping experiences occurred because of money and made you feel at least one negative emotion while going through with it. Because of this, your subconscious mind generalizes the association of money and the negative emotion. This results in coping behaviors to avoid the negative emotion, which often results in negative financial consequences. For example, in the book, a woman who was earning a significant amount of money always ends up spending all of her cash. It turns out she saw her father die from a heart attack due to the stress of an argument with her mother. This argument, as it turns out, is about money. This experience has caused her to associate money with the pain of the death of her father. Because of this association, her money blueprint was subconsciously driving her to get rid of her money, thinking that she was getting rid of pain. Because of the association these incidents give your subconscious, it is often how the meaning of money for your life is shaped. But keep in mind that these definitions are merely derived from your experiences and do not mean that it is the ultimate truth. This is why, when creating awareness and understanding of these meanings, you must understand that you are only dealing with a money blueprint and not actual money. In this way, you can see it for what it is and deal with the root of these results. Steps for change. Create awareness. Think of a specific incident during your childhood that had something to do with money. Gain understanding. Remember and write down how this specific incident might have influenced your present financial situation. Disassociate. Ask yourself, can you recognize that these behaviors or way of being is merely what you have learned from outside influences and is not a part of your identity? Can you recognize the choice you have right now to do things differently? Reprogram. Do the following declarations. Hand over your heart. I let go of the unconstructive money experiences from my past and build a new and abundant future. Touch your index finger to your head. I have a millionaire mind. What is your money blueprint set for? Once you've gone through the 3 influences that shaped your money blueprint, you must now determine what kind of result your money blueprint is making you subconsciously create. Is it pushing you toward a financial life of success, mediocrity, or failure? Is it making your experience about money a struggle or a breeze? Is it making you in or out of balance for money? More often than not, you might realize that you do not have an ideal money blueprint that can push you toward the life that you want. In this case, you must understand that the only way to change your money blueprint is through a reset. Without this reset, you would get the same results regardless of how well your knowledge and skills improve. To do this reset, you will have to continue reading and doing the steps in Part 2 of the book, The Wealth Files. However, without being conscious of the thoughts, fears, beliefs, habits, actions, and inactions that you have about money, you would continue to be unaware of what you must change or reset. So, before moving on to the next part, make sure that you've done all the steps in this part. The Wealth Files. Since the mind is the basis for what we experience in life, it is important that we gain an understanding of how it works. To put it metaphorically, your mind is like a file cabinet that labels and categorizes the information it gets. This is so the mind can easily retrieve it for use for your survival. This action of the mind makes your responses to life's events automatic. Although it is suitable for a scenario for survival, wherein a fast decision is needed, an automated response would make it hard for you to achieve a life of abundance. This is because your decisions would be limited to only what you know. This dilemma is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you would automatically get the results that you were programmed to do. The problem arises when your mind's files are not set for financial success. Regardless of your knowledge and efforts, you would make financial failure and mediocrity an inevitable result every time. On the other hand, if your mind has the supportive files of a successful financial situation, your decisions in this area would be seemingly natural and automatic. As you go through these files, keep in mind that these are not meant to degrade those who are poor. The extreme distinctions made between the poor and the rich are written as such to make differences of the two groups clear. Moreover, the characteristics of the rich, middle class, and poor written in the book are merely references to their mentality and not their characters or values as a person. There will be generalizations of these different financial groups to make you understand where their financial blueprint stands and to make you think more like a person set up for financial success. Lastly, you must accept that your way would most likely not be the right way. To live and think differently, you have to let go of the things that gave you the undesirable results you are experiencing. And these things would include the thoughts, emotions, and actions you have regarding money. In this part of the book, Harv Eker examines how rich individuals think about money differently and gives you the files necessary to successfully reprogram your mind for financial success. By knowing these wealth files, you have a choice to shift your thinking to a more supportive mindset when you notice you're exhibiting your old blueprint of financial mediocrity and failure. Moreover, it is encouraged to say the declarations and accomplish the mind actions for each file. Doing so can help you apply yourself immediately into creating a millionaire mind. Wealth file number 1. The rich believe that they create their life, while the poor believe life happens to them. To create wealth, you must believe that you are in control of your life. Rich people believe that they create the success, mediocrity, and struggles they experience. It does not matter whether you're conscious or unconscious of this fact. They firmly believe that they're at the steering wheel of their financial life. In contrast, poor people consciously or unconsciously think that they have little to no control over their lives. They are usually the ones who play the lottery and hope that their wealth will be given to them. Instead of taking charge of their wealth, they unknowingly choose to act as the victim in a situation. So how do you tell if you or anyone else is acting as the victim? Here are 3 clues. 1. Blaming. Victims see the economy, the government, the stock market, their broker, their type of business, their employer, their employees, their boss, the spouse, God, their parents, or whoever or whatever they can point out as the one at fault for their financial predicament. It is always anyone or anything else other than them that is the problem for their financial struggles or mediocrity. 2. Justifying. When they're not blaming, victims would be rationalizing or justifying their situation with statements like, "Money is not that important." They would argue that there are more important things in life than money. Although this is true in some areas of life, money is important in life's areas where it has a purpose. 3. Complaining. They focus on everything and anything that is going wrong with their life. Unknowingly, they just make themselves miserable. Even if you're not a complainer, you should stay away from this kind of person, as they will infect you with their attitude. These 3 actions of victims are just their way of relieving stress. However, they alleviate a crucial stress for success, the stress of failure. Without this stress, you will have a hard time finding the motivation to succeed financially. Moreover, playing the victim can be tempting, as it gets you attention, which is often mistaken for love. Millionaire Mind Actions. I create my exact level of financial success. Whenever you blame, complain, or justify, remind yourself that you are slitting your financial throat by doing so. As a trigger of this reminder, put your index finger on your neck and slide it across as a symbol of what you're doing. It's meant to be crude, as this is what you're doing to your finances. At the end of a day, think of one event of the day that went well and another one that did not. Journal this event and evaluate how you created both of these to come about for the day. If there were other parties involved, evaluate the part that you played for it to happen. This exercise is meant to keep you accountable for your actions and help you keep track of the ways that are and are not working for you. Wealth file number 2. The rich play the money game to succeed. The poor play the money game to avoid failure. In any sport, strictly playing on the defensive would not give good odds of winning. This is the same way poor people try to earn money, focusing more on security and survival. They only aim to have enough money for their bills. Unknowingly, this causes them to only end up with the exact amount for their bills and nothing more. As for the middle class, they settle for merely being comfortable. They would not dare to go beyond their comfort zones to at least try to work for an income level that is beyond what they're experiencing. They do not know that aiming for comfortable would never get them rich. However, for the rich, they aim to be massively wealthy and abundant in their finances. They set their goals so high that when they fail, they still end up with more than what others achieve in their definition of success. And unlike the middle class, they aim for being rich, which gives them a significantly more comfortable experience. Millionaire Mind Actions. My goal is to be a millionaire and more. In a notebook or piece of paper, write your goal, annual income, and net worth with the intention of creating abundance. These goals should be achievable within a realistic period of time, while, at the same time, going beyond what you deem as comfortable. Go outside your comfort zone by eating out in an upscale restaurant and ordering an item at market price. Do not ask for the current cost. Wealth File 3. The rich are committed to achieving wealth and abundance, while the poor only want it. When asked, most people would say they want to be rich. But because of the negative wealth files in their mind, poor people see being rich as wrong, and in their subconscious mind, they don't actually want it. If asked what is negative about being rich, they can think of a lot of good reasons why it would be bad or a problem for them. Moreover, poor people are unsure if they really want to be financially rich. This is driven from the fact that their money blueprint is often confusing due to the contradictions of the rules they have imposed on themselves and the goals that they intimately want. Either they actually do not want to be wealthy or are just not willing to do what is required to create wealth. What people who have failed to achieve abundance in their lives is that there are degrees to what most people would say as wanting something. There's the first level of what most people mean when they say, I want to be wealthy. What they're actually saying is that they'll only act as far as taking something that fell right in front of them. The second level is when one chooses to be rich. People who are at this level understand they are responsible for the outcome in their lives and have cut off any other alternatives from being rich. Lastly, the third level is being committed to achieving wealth. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, people at this level of wanting would do whatever it takes to achieve their goal. They have no reservations in their pursuit of riches. This commitment is important as people who are not in this mindset do not realize that getting rich requires a lot from you. For you to be rich, you must be completely focused, courageous in your pursuit of goals, knowledgeable in your area, put in 100% in effort, never give up, and have a rich mindset. If you lack any one of these, you are not truly committed in creating the wealth you desire. But the good news is, once you have committed yourself to this goal, things will seem to just fall in place. You will find that you are seemingly being assisted, guided, supported, and given miracles to achieve wealth by the universe. Millionaire Mind Actions. I commit to being rich. Then, follow the Millionaire Mind Actions below. Write specific reasons being rich and wealthy is important to you. Talk to a supportive friend, relative, or family member. Give them your commitment to becoming a millionaire by a certain date and ask them to give their affirmation of their belief in you. Wealth File 4. The rich think big, while the poor think small. In our business and jobs, all of us are paid in proportion to the value we deliver in the market. This value is determined by 4 factors: demand, supply, quality, and quantity. How much do people want what you deliver? How many offer the same thing as you do? How good is your offer in the marketplace? More often, it is the quantity of people you serve that proves as the challenge and determining factor for value. The more people your business serves, the more products or services you sell. The more branches you have for your business means greater area coverage and a greater customer turnover. However, this value is often hampered by people playing small. This tendency to play small is often due to fear of failure and feelings of unworthiness for success. But if you realize that living your life is not all about you, the fear and unworthiness that you feel could be surpassed. You would see that you can solve at least one problem for a lot of people at a profit. By thinking big, you could positively affect people's lives while becoming richer in the mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial sense. Stop thinking small. Stop caving in to your fears. Stop holding yourself back from your purpose. Once you have let go of these things and truly pursued what only you can and are supposed to do in this world, you will be rewarded with incredible fulfillment and wealth. Declare to yourself, I think big. I decide to help people that count in the thousands. And follow the Millionaire Mind actions below. On a piece of paper, take an inventory of your natural talents and which areas in your life these talents can be of more use. Think of ways you can solve the problems of a significant number of people through your job or business now. Think of at least 3 different ways, and think of how you can leverage your efforts. Wealth File 5. The rich focus on opportunities, while the poor focus on obstacles. With them taking responsibility for the results they experience, rich people make things the way they want them to be because they make these things happen. They expect to succeed in their endeavors, for they have confidence in their skill, creativity, and ability to bounce back. They are willing to take educated risks, for they understand it is necessary for them to achieve the rewards. On the other hand, what makes the poor people stay poor is they expect to fail. They do not have the confidence the rich have, even if they do have the skills and creativity needed. They are unwilling to take the necessary risks for them to gain financial success. If they do see an opportunity, they dwell on all the obstacles and problems that come with it. Although they might say they are prepping themselves for an opportunity, they are actually stalling, and this opportunity would eventually disappear. With these differences between the rich and the poor, it is no wonder the rich get the desirable results as they are more oriented for action. They would do their research before taking action, but they do it in as little time as possible before deciding to take action or not. They understand that they must take action if they want to succeed. Moreover, rich people focus on what they want, while the poor focus on things that they don't. And, as we all know, you get more of what you're focused on. For the rich, they find more opportunities to grow financially and stay working towards their goal. For the poor, they keep on getting the problems they look for and get distracted from their goals by every problem, big or small, that arises. Millionaire Mind Actions. I see the opportunities over the obstacles. I get ready, I fire, and only then will I aim. Think of a project that you've always wanted to start. Forget about whatever you're waiting for. Start right now, regardless of your situation. If you have to learn the ropes before plunging in, start working for or with someone who knows what they're doing. Once you've learned the necessary skills, go for it. Make it a habit to be optimistic. Reframe every problem or obstacle you hear into an opportunity. Focus on the things that you are grateful for and not on things that you do not have. Write down a list of the 10 things you are grateful for and read this aloud every morning of the next 30 days. Wealth File 6. The rich admire those who are rich and successful, while the poor resent them. It's impossible to be the person you despise. But this is how poor people look at rich people. They look at them with envy, jealousy, and resentment, and think as if the rich ones are the ones to blame for their poor financial situation. What they fail to realize by feeling and thinking this way is that they do not affect anyone with this but themselves. They are making themselves feel miserable and keeping themselves poor. It does not matter whether thoughts and opinions you have are good or bad, or right or wrong. The reasons and actions of rich people for their wealth do not matter. What matters are the effects that these have on you whenever you have these positive or negative thoughts and feelings. This is because these could empower and disempower you toward the happiness and success you want to achieve. And as you might have realized, with these negative thoughts and feelings, people would be pushing themselves away from reaching the happiness and success that rich people have. Knowing this, if you want to be rich and successful, you will realize that you must have positive thoughts and feelings toward them. This can be difficult to do if you're conditioned to resent them. But like any habit, it can be overcome through practicing the new habit to which you want to adapt. Millionaire Mind Actions. I admire rich people. I love rich people. I bless rich people. And I'm going to be one of those rich people too. Exercise the Huna philosophy of blessing the things that you want. Whenever you see something, bless it and the people and owners involved in it. Send a short email to a successful individual you know of that you admire and honor them for what they have achieved. Wealth File 7. Rich individuals surround and associate themselves with positive and successful individuals. Poor individuals surround and associate with unsuccessful or negative people. In the first part of this book, modeling was mentioned as one of the ways we learn. It is through this concept that people find success by simply associating with successful people. This association gives them the models that they can learn from, and believe that if these successful people can do it, they can be successful too. This also gives them the blueprint needed for them to achieve success. After all, doing what successful and rich people did to achieve their goals is the fastest way to achieve their own goals. But the opposite happens when one associates with unsuccessful and negative people like poor people do. They hear about these people they associate with criticizing, mocking, and pulling down other people to their level. They are subjected to this negative energy that can bring them down and away from reaching their success. For this reason, it is important to take care in choosing the type of people you associate with. If you want to be successful, you have to associate with positive people who can inspire you to succeed as well in life. This also means that you have to take yourself out of situations that are just toxic and a waste of time. This does not mean that you have to disassociate with your family, spouse, parents, or partner who may be exhibiting such behaviors. This simply means that you could use this challenge to make yourself a stronger person in keeping a positive and empowering demeanor for your goals. However, when these people are just bringing you down to the point that you're not even able to grow, you might have to make some difficult decisions to create the life that you want. This wealth file can be a bit restricting and life-changing because of how it limits the people you associate with. But these are just normal decisions that one must make. It is normal for these decisions to involve letting go of the things that might have been normal and comfortable for the life you were leading before. However, you're choosing a better life now, and better actions that lead to better results. This entails the requirement to changes that support this result in your life. Millionaire Mind Actions. I model people who are rich and successful. I associate myself with people who are rich and successful. If they can do it, then I can do it too. Read the biography of someone extremely wealthy and successful. Use their story as an inspiration for you to learn success strategies and their mindset. Join a club that will enable you to spend time with rich people. If it's not possible, regularly have tea or coffee in a high-end hotel in your city. Become comfortable in this type of atmosphere. Watch the other customers and notice how they're not any different from you. Think of people who are negative and toxic in your life. Disassociate with them. If they're part of your family, choose to spend less time with them. Stop watching television and bad news. Wealth File 8. The rich are keen to promote themselves and the value they offer, while the poor think negatively about anything that has to do with selling and promotion. Some people, regardless of how it might benefit them, resent the promotion of products toward them. This behavior usually hinders them from being successful financially. It shows how they see selling and promotion of a product or service. This negative perception prevents them from creating a large income from their business or from the products they represent. For an employee, this prevents them from being noticed in the workplace, as they do not get their skills, virtues, and characters noticed by those who have the power to give them a raise or a promotion. People who have a problem with sales and promotion most likely had a negative experience about selling or promoting. They could have received inappropriate promotions, experienced failure in selling, or think they're too good to do so. Whichever the case, these individuals would not be able to offer their value to the market, and as a consequence, would fail to earn an income from said value. Moreover, if you want to be rich, you will have to accept that it requires you to be a leader. Leaders have followers from whom they leverage the efforts, knowledge, and skills they need to build the big income they're aiming for. And for one to be an effective leader, they must be effective in inspiring and motivating people, while continuously selling their ideas and vision to their followers. The key to successful promoting is not to like the act of promoting or selling. The key is to establish solid belief that the value you're offering will benefit the people it is meant for. This belief would motivate, if not push, you to promote it and blatantly show it to people so that they can benefit from what you're offering. You would take promoting as your righteous duty, and as a result, you will get rich. Millionaire Mind Actions. I promote the value I offer to people with passion and enthusiasm. Rate the value you're planning to offer or offering from 1 to 10 based on your belief and its value. For a score of 7 to 9, revise what you're offering to improve your belief rating. For 6 and below, change what you're offering to something that you genuinely believe in. Educate and train yourself in marketing and sales to be effective in it without violating your integrity. Wealth File 9. The rich believe they're bigger than their problems, while the poor think they're smaller than their problems. Getting rich involves problems, stress, and responsibilities. This is why poor people remain poor. They choose to avoid taking these things on. What they don't realize is that by avoiding their problems, they miss the opportunity to grow bigger than their problems. What rich people have figured out is that to get rich, they must focus on their size instead of the size of their problems. By focusing on their size, they can see what they can do to conquer these problems. In doing so, they grow and become able to take on bigger responsibilities. And with this, they are able to create better value, which gives them a better income. This concept can be related to Wealth File 5. By focusing on their goal and not on the problem, they are able to continuously create solutions to the problems they encounter. They become unstoppable in the pursuit of their goals. With this unstoppable mindset, they simply choose to pursue a goal, and it is as good as theirs. Millionaire Mind Actions. My being is bigger than any problems. I can solve any problem. Whenever you're feeling upset or overwhelmed over a big problem, point and call yourself Mini-Me, Mini-Me. Take a deep breath and then say, I can solve this problem. I am bigger than this and any problem. Write down a problem you're having. Think of at least 10 ways to resolve or improve the situation. This is to aid you to have a more solution-oriented mindset. Wealth File number 10. The rich are excellent receivers, while the poor are bad receivers. Most individuals find it more difficult receiving than giving something. This makes it difficult for them to reach their full financial potential. This arises usually from feelings of unworthiness brought about by conditioning. One source of this unworthiness is the conditioning from parents, teachers, and other authority figures' punishments for the wrong things they did. Often this punishment is by withholding something as a consequence of bad behavior. This still exists, even in their adulthood. But instead of an authority figure doing it to them, they're doing it to themselves as part of their conditioning. As a result, for whatever reason, they limit their earnings and sabotage their success due to how they think they do not deserve anything more than what they have in life. But these feelings and thoughts of unworthiness are just that, feelings and thoughts. In the end, since these limits are self-imposed, they can easily decide that they are worthy. Through a change of perspective, they can easily switch from feeling unworthy to worthy of reaching their financial potential. Whatever story you're telling yourself, you will live that story. So if you want to reach your goal of being rich and wealthy, feeling worthy of it is as easy as telling yourself that you are worthy. On the other hand, if being a poor receiver does not stem from feelings of unworthiness, this tendency could possibly come from thinking that it is better to give than to receive. But people who believe this do not realize that giving and receiving are just two opposing sides of the same coin. One cannot give if there is no one to receive. In addition to this, if one is not willing to receive, they are denying the joy a giver gets from giving. Aside from feelings of unworthiness, poor people can also believe they are better people for choosing not to receive their just rewards for their efforts. The rich get richer because they think it is perfectly appropriate for them to be rewarded for the value they provide the market. In contrast, poor people would not let themselves receive their rewards, even if they are working hard in delivering value to the market. This most often stems from the belief that receiving money or getting rich will turn them into greedy individuals. They do not realize that money will only make them more of what they are before getting rich. So if you want to become a good receiver, you have to consciously receive what life is offering you. You can do this by setting up an account and putting a portion of your income into it just for spending to feel like a million. You also have to start expressing your excitement and gratitude whenever you receive money. You will eventually be more open to receiving, and you will find out that this attitude will spill over to being more open to more love, peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Millionaire Mind Actions. I am an excellent receiver. My being is open and willing to receive great amounts of money and blessings into my life. For any compliment you receive, say thank you or express your gratitude. Do not deflect like most people would do. Celebrate any amount of money you receive. Treat yourself at least once a month in something that would make you feel rich and deserving. Wealth File 11. The rich choose to get paid for the results they deliver, while the poor choose to get paid for their time. There is nothing wrong with earning income from a paycheck, but if it prevents you from exercising your ability to earn from your value, this is where the problem comes in. Rich people know this is usually what happens, so they prefer not to earn from a steady paycheck. On the other hand, poor people prefer the security of earning the exact amount on every payday. But they don't realize that the paycheck is limiting their ability to earn wealth. The preference of choosing security over wealth is based in fear. Poor people are afraid that they won't be able to earn the money they need from their performance. They settle on the amount that would enable them to just survive or live comfortably. Rich people become wealthy because they are willing to produce the results for which people are willing to pay a lot of money. They either get their money from their business's profits, commission, revenue shares, stock options, or profit share. Although these sources of income do not have a guarantee, rich people know by producing a value worthy of the amount that they will be paid more than a paycheck ever could and proportionate to the risk they took. A majority of millionaires have become millionaires through their businesses. It could be disheartening if one does not have a good business idea, but by being a commissioned salesperson, you can also enjoy the benefits of earning through the results of your actions. If you're really good at your job, you can choose to earn, instead of a paycheck, through a contract from your employer that will offer you a percentage of the added profit they gain from your efforts. Any of these avenues would take time, training, and energy to get the big income you're aiming for. Millionaire Mind Actions. I make a choice to earn based on my results. Make a proposal to your current employer to earn based on the individual results you provide for your company. If you own a business, create a compensation plan that would enable your employees to earn based on their results and your business. If you're not paid your worth, you can start a business of your own, part-time or full-time. You can join a network marketing business, do coaching or teaching, or become an independent consultant. As long as you're getting paid on your performance and results, do it. Wealth File 12. The rich think that they can have both, while the poor only think of getting one. Rich people see the world as an abundant one. Although they know it is a reality that they can't have everything, they believe that they can have everything they really want. This includes having a good relationship with their family while having a successful career, having both money and meaning, focusing on business while having fun, and earning a fortune through the work they love. For poor and middle-class people, the world is limited. They believe happiness and money are mutually exclusive. For example, they think having a happy family life is not possible to have with a successful career. Because of this, they live their lives foregoing one thing over the other. But what they do not realize is, with creativity, having both is possible. After all, one can't be happy by just scraping by for money, and you can't be wealthy without being happy. Of course, having a both kind of mindset requires you to act and think on a certain standard. First, you must realize that there's enough for everyone living in the world, and that when you earn, nobody is losing out. Second, if you have more money, more people can benefit from you availing their offered value. Lastly, be a role model. By doing so, you are exhibiting an abundant mindset that there's more than enough room for everyone to be as successful as you are. Millionaire Mind Actions. I always think both. When you're presented alternatives, always think of how you can have both. When spending money, always be aware that it would go through a lot of people while creating value for them. Be a role model to show that you can be generous, kind, and rich. Wealth File 13. The rich focus on their net worth, while the poor focus on their working income. Rich people know the difference between one's net worth and working income. They know that net worth is the true measure of wealth. This is why they focus on increasing their income, investments, and business valuation while keeping their expenses down. On the other hand, poor people focus only on building their working income. This kind of income requires the investment of time and money. Because of this exclusive focus on working income, the poor end up with little to no net worth. To build their net worth, the rich know that saving their money is the first step, for they can never build wealth if they spend all of their income. With their savings, they grow it by investing and taking time to make sure they have the right knowledge. This is contrary to how the poor would immediately gratify themselves and spend all of their money, leaving them with nothing to save and invest. Lastly, the rich understand that a lifestyle would always cost money. Because of this, they set a lifestyle that wouldn't require a fortune to afford and that could easily be paid by their passive income from their investments. By doing so, they can choose not to work for their living expenses if they do not want to. If you intend to be at least a millionaire, you must focus building your net worth. You have to know the exact amount of your net worth and know how much net worth you're aiming for. Keep track of this throughout your whole life. Millionaire Mind Actions. I focus on increasing my net worth. Apply yourself in building your net worth through its 4 factors of your net worth: income, passive and working, savings, investment returns, and decreased cost of living. Create your financial statement of net worth. Add the value of everything you own and subtract it from the value of your liabilities. Track and revise this statement on a quarterly basis. Seek help from a successful financial planner. Hire someone from a reputable company and who your friends or associates would recommend. Wealth File 14. The rich manage their money well, while the poor mismanage theirs well. Rich people are not smarter than poor people. The difference of their financial results is created by the habits they have. The rich have supportive money habits, while the poor have destructive ones. The rich know that if they want to master money, they must manage their money well. For the poor, there is little, if none at all, management done. And if possible, they avoid talking about money. Some poor people even give the excuse that managing money restricts their freedom. Some poor people even give the excuse that managing money restricts their freedom, or that there's no need, as they do not have enough money anyway. But what they do not understand is planning can, in fact, give them financial freedom and plenty of money. By managing their current finances, they can gain the skills and discipline needed when they have more money available to them. So when they get to increase their income, they have more savings and potential investments available to them. This results in an exponential increase in their net worth. If you want to control money, you must manage it well. It is never about how much money you earn, but how well you manage what you earn. Otherwise, if you do not manage your money, it will eventually control you. Millionaire Mind Actions. I am a great money manager. Create a financial freedom bank account and put 10% of all your income into it. Never spend this account. Invest it to produce passive income when you retire. Create a financial freedom jar at home and regularly put money in it every day. Put loose change or whatever amount, as long as you do it daily. Create a play bank account or jar in your home. Deposit in it 10% of your total income. Aside from this, open 4 more bank accounts and deposit into each the corresponding percentage of your total income. Long-term savings used for spending, 10%. Education bank account, 10%. Necessities bank account, 50%. Giving bank account, 10%. Start managing whatever money you have at the moment. Managing it and dividing it into the different accounts will send a message to the universe that you are ready for more money. Wealth File 15. The rich make their money work hard for them, while the poor work hard for their money. Most people have been programmed to work hard to earn money. It is important to work hard, but you can never be rich by working hard alone. You must also work smart to go beyond always working hard for money. After all, working hard for money is temporary for the rich. The reason why most people struggle with money is that they have no idea what it takes to be successful in it. Rich people become rich because they aim for earning the amount of money they need to never have to work ever again, except when they choose to. To do this, one must have enough passive income without work, to pay for the expenses of your desired lifestyle. Passive income could come from earnings from investments in financial instruments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, mortgages, and from income of business working for you, rental properties, royalties, music, software, patents, licensing ideas, franchise business, storage units, and network marketing business. Without taking advantage of the power of passive income, it would be close to impossible in achieving financial freedom. However, creating this type of income can be a difficult endeavor, as most of us were conditioned not to earn passive income, have no idea how to create passive income, and have little to no exposure to passive income and investing. But by consciously thinking long-term and balancing expenses for short-term and long-term desires, you can make smarter decisions toward your finances and building your passive income for financial freedom. Millionaire Mind Actions. My money is working hard for me and is continuously making me more money. Educate yourself in investments. Read a minimum of 1 investment book each month. Read financial magazines. This is to familiarize yourself with the different financial options available. Shift your focus from active to passive income. Think and list at least 3 ways you can create passive income. Start your research and take action on these. Do not delay buying real estate. Buy and then wait. Wealth File 16. The rich act even when facing fear, while the poor stop in the face of fear. According to the process of manifestation, our thoughts and feelings are part of our inner world, while the results are part of our outer world. There needs to be a bridge to realize the inner into the outer world. This bridge is action, and this is the reason why it is critical for success. But emotions like fear, doubt, and worry can stop people from taking action toward their goals. Usually this happens because they wait for fear to subside or disappear before acting. This can be prevented by not letting these feelings stop them from taking action. In order for you not to let these emotions stop you, you have to build the habit of acting in spite of having these emotions. And eventually, action in the face of these emotions will eventually be natural. Facing one's fears would always be uncomfortable, or at the very least inconvenient. But things will always be uncomfortable, and won't always be convenient when you're trying to reach any type of goal. In fact, being uncomfortable is a fact you have to accept whenever you're trying to grow a better version of yourself. In this case, a richer version of yourself. Eventually, when you've trained your mind to habitually face your fears, worries, and doubts, you will find that succeeding in life is easier. Millionaire Mind Actions. I act in the face of fear, doubt, worry, inconvenience, discomfort, and even when I'm not in the mood. Write down 3 of your greatest concerns, fears, and worries about money and wealth. For each that you write down, what would you do if the situation you fear actually happened? Could you survive this? Could you turn it around? The answer is usually yes. So you should really stop worrying about these. Get used to going beyond your comfort zone. Build a habit of getting uncomfortable. Be aware and observe your thought patterns. Only entertain the thoughts that support the achievement of your happiness and success. Challenge the thoughts that limit you. Always show your mind who's the boss. Wealth File 17. The rich constantly learn and grow, while the poor think they already know. Saying that one already has knowledge of something comes with the fact that they are already living out the said knowledge. But oftentimes people say, I know that, when they actually only heard of it, talked about it, or read about it. They actually do not know it. But if you're someone who's not rich and unhappy with their financial situation, it would most likely mean that you still have some learning to do regarding money, success, and life. Poor people often try to prove that they're right about something. What they do not realize is being right equates to holding on to their own ways. They are limiting themselves from adapting new ways of thinking or doing things. As a result, they keep doing the same things over and over again, which results in them getting the same undesirable results over and over again. Because of this, it is important that one continuously learn and grow. Rich people know this, and this is why they invest heavily into education and training. They know that learning just one new thing to improve themselves or their lives is worth the investment. With this mentality, it is no wonder that they become successful, which results in them becoming wealthy and becoming experts in their field. And by being one of the best in their field, they become one of the highest paid in it. Millionaire Mind Actions. I am committed to continuous learning and growing. Each month, take one seminar on business, money, or personal development. Listen to an educational audiobook, or read at least one book. If you can, hire a personal coach to help you keep track of your goals. Attend the Millionaire Mind Intensive. From this book, you have learned the key to creating the life that you want, your mind's money blueprint. You have gained an understanding on how you were conditioned during your childhood to believe the way you believe now about money, wealth, and handling your finances. And more importantly, you learned how your results manifest into the external world from your mind, through thoughts, feelings, and actions. With this information, you were given the necessary building blocks to be able to recondition your money blueprint into something that is suited to achieving massive amounts of wealth. With a better understanding and initial reconditioning of your mind, you are prepared to adapt the attitudes that make the rich successful in building their wealth. You were taught that rich people believe they make their own life. They are playing the game of wealth to win and completely committed to do what it takes to win it. They think big and focus on the opportunities presented in any given situation. They are completely admirable of successful people and would even seek to genuinely learn from these people. They surround themselves with people who will empower and inspire them to reach their success. They have no qualms about promoting their value to those who could benefit from it. They conquer their problems by becoming bigger than their problems. They have no problem receiving money and do not in any way believe that giving or receiving is better than the other. They would rather choose to get paid on the results they create than for their time. They do not limit themselves in choosing one alternative over the other. They focus on building their net worth while managing their money well and making it work hard for them. Lastly, they act in the face of their fears and commit to a life of continuous growth and learning. This book is all you need to succeed financially. The only thing missing is acting on the information you have received. Using the principles found in this book is the ultimate step you must take to realize the results you're seeking. You have now overhauled your money blueprint for a life of wealth and happiness. The only thing missing now is your actions to realize it in your outer world. By committing to the declarations in each wealth file and following the Millionaire Mind actions, you will firmly plant the mindset and the habits of successful millionaires in the world. Eventually, you will notice the change in how you see life and money. You will make different choices compared to your previous self, but these choices are getting you closer to becoming rich. You now have become a master of your mind and made it a millionaire mind. But the poorly conditioned mind could return in the future. It has, after all, been a part of you since childhood. This is why it's recommended that you reread the book for each month for the whole year. In doing so, your mind will be permanently conditioned to be a millionaire mind.